Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Tales and Tactics. So, I figured what we'd do today is rather than, just kind of show off a run I'm particularly proud of, I figured I would talk through kind of the decisions that I make when I'm playing the game, and hopefully this will be able to serve as maybe something of a guide for anybody who wants to get into this game. We're going to be approaching it from the perspective of somebody who's unlocked just about everything to start, and we're going to be playing on the recommended difficulty. There is one specific thing I want to try. I'm going to try picking the character that I've had the least success with, and hopefully this will go well. As you can see here, we have our first selection of units. We have 3 free rolls, and we're facing down what looks like... Wow, this is definitely not an army I would want to see for my very first one, but we should be fine. Something I'm going to do with this is I'm actually going to try to force the spirit build in honor of the season. So we're going to take that teak. So we do have a second teak, which is kind of tempting. It's always nice to tier up units as early as you can. We also have a Shelly, which I really should have taken the snake on the last one just to get early reptiles. We'll fix that mistake now. Oh, perfect. We found the other spirit that's on level 1. Tanks are almost always best on the front line. We're going to put the teak right there. And then this character actually starts with the Shrine's Blessing. Like, just automatically you get one of your hexes gives a unit +1 mana regen. So I always try to put the casters there, or whoever has a really nice ability. So that's just kind of the initial setup here. This rhyme could give us a lot of grief, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Alright, no problem. Yeah, the nice thing about units like Teak is that they are perfect. Like anything that can dash or reposition itself super easily is just great at disrupting your opponent's backline. Alright, well, so for Box of Books, I always take the +9 star power, because that allows you to do a lot of very silly things right away. Yeah, there's some thought to maybe taking the side quest there, but like when the side quest is up against something like Box of Books, I don't even consider it. All right, but since we're going for the spirits, there's actually another tier 1 spirit that we can get. So what I may try to do is find that one, which would just make things a lot easier. Spirits is a very weird tribe. In my opinion, they might be one of the weakest, but that's why it's fun to try to make them work. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap these two. So we now have the spirit trait, and you can see this gravestone over here on our bench. What that allows us to do is to just put a unit here that'll actually enter the combat after everything starts. And at first it's going to be really weak, but once we fill out our little roster, it's actually going to be really nice to have. Yeah, just easy tier 2 on the light wing. And that's something that it's important to look out for, is just like, what unit can you get that's going to be help improve your board. So always want to tier up. Sometimes it's correct to pivot, but since I'm going into this specifically trying to force a build, you probably won't see too much of that. Alright, so let's see how this goes. Yeah, so as you can see, we now have a second teak that's just kind of chilling in the back here. Kind of gets ignored by the enemy, so it makes it very useful, but it doesn't actually count as one of your units. So, we've got our first level up. I want to hold the perk rerolls for, I want to say, the level 2 one. So what we're going to do instead, I think, is we're going to just pick Rainbow Run. Unlocks all the bonus traits, so you can see now, instead of just having 3, we now have what, 8, 9 of them. And of course, between these two, I'm not a big fan of Zoltan, and I don't remember what any of the rest of it is, so we're just going to go ahead and go to the assembly line. We're going to grab ourselves, I think a tank item would be best. And we've got 12 gold to use, so of course we're going to deposit some gold in. We're going to take the Titan's Vest. It just makes whatever unit we stick it on, like this Hydra right here, just able to brawl very well with other units. So since we have 12 star power, gonna invest again. You can actually look here at the spirits, and you see we have 3 level 1 spirits, 2 level 2 spirits, and 1 level 3 spirit. So we won't need to get the vault all the way up, because I honestly feel like the vault is at its best when you're playing a build that has a lot of high-end units. Otherwise, you only need to get up about 2 or 3 levels. And then coming over here, we have our choice of these two. Either all units have 20 additional armor, or all units move faster and gain 30 attack speed. Shrink-O-Mancer can be tough. Guard Captain is usually pretty easy. But you want to look at the rewards. Guard Captain's trading 5 star power for an extra gold and an extra experience. We just leveled up, so we have an empty experience bar. So I think I'm going to go with the star power instead. Oh, and it's a Devil's Deal. Alright, so there are plenty... this is always a tough one. What is it? Units lose 40% of their attack speed. So Devil's Deal will cost us 2 hearts, most likely. Because I can't imagine we're going to win with our attack speed being reduced that dramatically. But it does immediately get us another level. And that's something you just got to do when you're playing for yourself, is weigh the risk versus the reward of, like what's worth it. And of course we rolled 2 Uros, so I'm just going to tier up the Uro that we have. Our Lightwing is over here in the Hex still, just to get that extra mana regen. Awkwardly, we did find a 3rd Teak. However, I'm not going to use that just yet to make sure that we actually have something decent to throw in the... Alright, and we're also coming up against an army that has Dragon 2, which is going to be a pain, and again, we're likely not going to win this one. But also Dragon 2 is going to do a lot of damage. And Scrapper 2, which is very interesting. Scrapper builds are fun, but I just did one of those not that long ago, so I'm not looking to do it again just yet. But basically their units do more damage the more they hit. It makes a lot of sense on Shrink-O-Mancer because of the extra speed. Alright, so how do I want to rearrange these? I think what we want to do is we just want to line up our tank and our skirmisher into their softer units, and then let the Uro and the Mickey kind of just duke it out. Very quiet. I'm not sure why the music isn't playing as much. Okay, we actually did manage to win that one. I wasn't expecting to. Again, you could see like how slowly our units were attacking there. Alright, so what did we roll? We have the Reptile Mark. Okay, so the Reptile Mark is actually a super good choice for us here. Because it gets us a Spirit Fang and a Reptile Warbanner, and Spirit Fang is a spirit. So I'm going to take that. Let's see. I may just end up not taking a side quest this time because they keep lining up with really good other road tales. So yeah, we're gonna go to the Summoning Stone. They're offering a tier 2, which is, I think 4 star points? Or we can take a little curse to get a Rallying Horn and some units we don't need. Would be great if we were playing Engineers, but we're not playing Engineers this time, so... Shrine's Blessing. The problem with going all in on Shrine's Blessing, I've done that before, and it always seems to fall off later. Do I take the... Yeah, you know what? We're going to take the Gale. Because Gale is another great unit to put in the Gravestone. And I'm also going to sell these Shellys because we're very definitely not doing that. What do we already have? So we have the War Banner, we've got a couple duplicators, have the completed contract and the Hydra Snack, which we don't need to worry about right now. Sword would be good. I need to figure out how I'm working this Spirit Fang into the board. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to buy an item remover. Because we might be getting out of the Hydra for the moment. Which is a little unfortunate, because, like, the Hydra is strong. Unfortunately, the Hydra's also, like, just not strong enough to stay in over what we already have. So use an item remover to get back the Titan Vest and the meat. We're going to throw in our Spirit Fang instead and equip the Titan Vest to that. And I think we actually want to equip the sword and the meat to the Teak, because the Mallet of Mashing both boosts its attack damage and also gives it a small, like, little AoE effect, which can be really strong. Yeah, the other thing we can do is actually equip this Reptile Banner. We're going to equip that to our Uro, because that gives us Reptile 2, which gives both of our tanky units an additional 10 armor, and they get attack speed every 3 seconds. So, just going to help a lot, and if there's a... probably not good odds. Yeah, we're probably not going to be able to get higher than Reptile 2, but we can try to get a few different traits just casually as we're going along. Alright, so we have an interesting choice here. These are both potentially going to be tough fights. I think between the two, the Toll Troll's probably going to be the harder one. Also the one we're most likely to lose. Just because the way that this little bridge-like split works usually means that the Troll's going to be bringing a lot of ranged units. In fact, the fact that it is Beast Tank means we're probably going to be seeing a Gale. Just because that's something the something the game really likes having. But we didn't take a loss where I was expecting to. So I'm willing to give this a try. Yeah, in fact, there's the Gale right there. So I'm willing to give this a try, and we'll see, just kind of see how things break. Alright, we're going to invest again, and we're going to use one of these common duplicators to get a tier 3 Uro, just to give us a little bit of an edge that may or may not end up mattering. We'll see. The fact that it has a little extra armor from, from being a reptile at the moment is actually very nice. Alright, so yeah, it's not going to make a huge difference, but I was hoping that the Teak Dash would open up some space for our units, and it did. Cool. So we did actually end up winning that one. I guess that's one of the advantages of Spirits dropping something on your enemy's backline, is that when it's set up to gum up the middle like that, it is just very easy to deal with. Interestingly, we actually got fewer star points than we should have. That's a little interesting. Not sure why that happened, because that should have given us 6, and we're at 5 right now. So yeah, for choosing which champion that we're going to help, I honestly don't think Sky is particularly useful ever, whereas River is just the best. Because you get either a free war banner now or a free war banner tailored to your build later. Basically, if it comes down to anybody versus River, I always tend to side with River, just because the rewards you get are so disproportionately better than everybody else's. Okay, this one, I used to know how this one worked. Honestly, I'm not sure how this one really works anymore, because it used to be that this would sit in the back until you killed these two electric conduits, but the last several times that I've had this boss fight, it just ignores those and runs up. So, okay, anything else we want to throw around? Not right now. I kind of like to hold the duplicators till later. So, yeah, let's just get in there. Neat. Yeah, and that's easy enough. Yeah, and something that you'll notice, one thing that really is never quite as good as I feel like it should be, is Aladana gets a copy of the boss every time that you beat one. Which in theory would be great for the spirit build, but we'll see if it ends up working that way. Alright, so we do have 14, so we're gonna roll and find nothing. Gonna roll again. And we found a Vex. There we go. Our build is more or less complete. The one remaining spirit is Malady, which we probably will swap out our Lightwing for Malady later, but we won't have the shot at getting Malady for a bit. Alright, so I've got 10. I am very definitely out of Hydra at the moment, so we're just going to invest one more time. Get some rare duplicators that'll hopefully be handy later. And you know what? We're going to try the boss in the gravestone. Just see how that works. These are both fine, but given that we are 2 experience from leveling up again, and the one that's offering 2 experience is also offering 9 star power, I don't think there's a reason to not just go for the Gob Barker fight. Mushrooms can be annoying, but like, even if like we're not doing badly, we're doing great on health, our board is reasonable at the very least. However, I am going to swap these two, again, just trying to line the tanky units up in against like the squishier ones while giving the squishy unit less chance of drawing tons of enemy fire. We need to put something in here. Do either of these... Okay, so this Vex has 4 range, so it's going to go into this to get the extra mana regen. And something you can actually do on maps that have traps like this is you just put one of your units on the trap to start, and it deletes the trap. Alright, but I think that's going to be good, so let's go ahead and get this started. Yeah, kind of what I expected to happen. No big deal. For some reason, Gob Barker is one of the ones who's just always way stronger than I expect it to be. Alright, so we're going to roll. We're looking for specifically trying to see if we can get the Spirit effect, and we were not able to. I will take the Reptile boost, however, on the offhand chance that we can get an extra banner. Because if we can get Reptile 4, that'll be huge. Don't really care about any of these. In fact, these are all actually kind of difficult to pull off. So I'll take Nidagard, and we could technically finish that right now if I burn 3 of our uncommon duplicators. So when it comes to these two, looks like these are more or less just kind of on par here. I think we're going to fight the Alley Gladiator, just because its ability does not matter. Ooh, very, very tanky upfront build. In an awkward spot for the Hex. We found a Gale, which I'm going to take on the offhand chance that we're able to finish our side quest that we just picked up. And we're also going to just ditch the boss entirely. We can now finish the side quest whenever we feel like it. And I'm also going to use 2 duplicators to get a tier 2 Spirit Fang. It feels kind of wasteful, but at the same time, like, we haven't exactly been getting much stronger, so we're going to tier 4 the Uro. The nice thing about tier 4s is that they stop showing up, so we don't have to worry about trying to roll any more Uros. So something interesting here. Most of their board is fine, it's just a bunch of very tanky units and a couple higher DPS ones. However, there is this Morita, and Morita can cause some problems. mostly because its ability kicks a unit to the back, which would kind of completely disrupt this line. There's a funny way you can get rid of that, though, is just by putting 2 units behind the one that's likely to get kicked. Because then it can't go anywhere, so it'll get kicked, not move at all, and your line will stay intact. Well, let's see how this plays out. Not very well, unfortunately. I don't feel like we're particularly weak, but I guess we just are way weaker than I realize. Okay, so well, we're gonna go to the stone crabs, look at them, they are adorable. I'm just gonna take the XP because we don't really have a build that's working off of the shields too much. Alright, we're gonna run that back against Lane Bully and see if that goes any better. That's not gonna go any better. So, against Lane Bully, the unfortunate part is that he's got a Lurch, which we can't really do anything about. However, his Grundy is not going to be able to get into the fight. So, we're going to move the Teak up so that it's only fighting the Kragus. Hope that the rest of this holds. And we'll see how this one goes. Alright, we were able to clear out the Lurch that could do a lot of damage to our horde, and it looks like we are totally fine. So yeah, sometimes when you lose it is just RNG, sometimes you're not strong enough, and it can be kind of tough to tell between the two. Yeah, not a whole lot we can do, unfortunately. So we're going to go to the Take One, because we already have a side quest we may or may not be finishing, and we don't really care about doing the rest of it. Yes, I'm going to take a sword just to try to bring up our front line's damage. And what I should have done is I didn't realize we were this close to the Registrar. I should have waited, because this Malady would be fantastic. In fact, we're going to pivot to that Malady right now. Because Malady is just unbelievably strong. Alright, do I want to try to get... what Brawler do we have? Okay, we do have a Brawler. We could take that Brawler War Banner and the meat, probably, and just really supercharge our Spirit Fang. Yeah, I really like that plan, so that's exactly what we're going to do. Anything else that we want? I'm going to pick up a Withervine potion just to play... I think I clicked the sword instead of the meat. That's fine. Sure. We'll give Spirit Fang the ability to crit. Alright, so right here... this is all totally fine. Druid of Harmony can be rough. Circus Performer is usually a pretty safe bet. So, the real question is, do we want gold or do we want experience? And we are 3 experience from leveling up, and most fights seem to give 2 experience. So I'm going to take on the Circus Performer and cry because we got the enemies take 50% less spell damage and a very spell damage heavy build. However, I am going to take this. For the simple fact that it may not actually matter. Oh, he's got Stalkers. It's definitely not going to matter. Here goes not much. Yeah, just... Oh, Stalkers are... Stalkers can be so brutal. But Malady provides an insane amount of disruption, and I think Malady just won us the fight, so, like... Yeah, problem solved. So as you can see there, sometimes the penalty for the Devil's Deals don't matter. So even though the enemies were taking way less damage from our big abilities, the simple fact that Malady provides so much crowd control just made up the difference. Alright, so here we go. We got our dungeon for the run. Most of the time with the dungeons, the penalties are not too bad either. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead. It is definitely worth risking... Sorry, it is definitely worth getting the 4 curse, because that's just how these rolls seem to go. For the extra 8 star points. And I think I actually want to try to finish this one. So our units start rooted, which is fine. Yeah, we rolled an 18, so it's 1 second of rooting, and it's not going to matter for a couple of our units anyway. Because, yeah, the ultimate reward for this is an item that makes our units count twice towards traits, so we may actually be able to finish the reptile one. And this one's just a % chance to curse all unit slots. Again, the reward is so valuable, I don't care. And this is usually how my dungeon runs go. Like, I have terrible luck with the dice. Gonna immediately plug that in on the Uro, which gets us Reptile 4, so now our 2 frontliners and anything else that we happen to find with a Reptile banner is immune to crowd control, gains 3 mana when they get hit, 6 mana if they're a brawler, gains a bunch of attack speed. Speaking of attack speed, the glove is going on the Teak, the crystal is going to go on the Vex, which I really wish I could find a second Vex. I think it's time to use the contract. Fantastic, so we're just gonna pick all of that. Alright, Gemclops is fine. Malady's gonna go here. Vex can sit in the back row on this one. We should be good. Yeah, Malady just deleted the boss, so... One of the biggest things I could say in this game is, even if it's looking bad, honestly, don't give up. Because something like, you know, getting a Malady can change your entire situation around. And I didn't talk through this, so the nice thing with Golden Grace, especially if there isn't anything better, like I had a Abandoned Ship and something else, Abandoned Ship is more like something you pick when your build is absolute garbage. Golden Grace just gets you a free 18 star points, so like it is the safest pick ever. Alright, so Sky's gonna have the power armor, which is not that big of an advantage. However, what I'm gonna do here, so this is an interesting one. Sponsorship deal allows you to get the Stitch Partner bonus, which dramatically increases how strong your tier 4 units are. However, to do that, you can't have any curse, and we have 4 curse. So I'm going to go to the Goblin Toss, because there is another really strong bonus here. So we're going to choose to summon Morello, because that gets us a free mana potion during the last 3 fights, which a mana potion on Malady is one of the strongest things that you can do, especially if you're just looking to disrupt your opponent's board. We have Deathwing Disciple, which is fine, and we have Magnetic Mage, which is genuinely one of the most annoying fights in the game. Usually not too tough, but unequipping all of your items can be really bad. Do I care about that? You know what? No, we're going to show it off. And the reason I'm doing this is because this gives 4 gold and 3 experience. We may be able to make level 6 by the end of this if we go with this one. So now, before the fight starts, we're going to try to get a little stronger. So I'm going to sell Monarch Senior, we're going to sell the Morello, and the 2 level 4s. Do I want to go... What is that? That gets us 2 new rare duplicators? Yes. I'm going to do that just to make sure that we can actually get Malady. And I need to figure out... We actually have another slot now. So I need to figure out what we're going to be taking. Second Shaman wouldn't be bad. I really need another Skirmisher. Gonna take the Malady. I don't think I need another tank. I really do just need, like, a Marita or something, like this Marita right here. Alright, so that gets us quite a lot of things, and then we're just gonna spend the rest of our star points looking for other units. Going to happily use a rare duplicator here. And we're actually going to use... Do we use an uncommon duplicator? No, we're going to hold the uncommons. Potentially in a bit of a rough spot. How do our units line up? No, units line up well. They don't have as much of a front line. This Marita's probably just going to get jumped by these two and die. Overall, though, I think this is fine. And you can see they're already lining up nicely for Malady's ability. If any unit in this game needs a nerf, it is probably Malady. Yeah, just disgustingly strong. But there we go. We got through that just fine. We're up to 5 experience. Alright. So what do we do here? Time coming 30 seconds sooner isn't bad. The ones that like split the board lengthwise are really awkward, and I kind of want the star points. So yeah, we'll take on the impatient monk. All right, so we need to re-equip all of our stuff. So I don't think Teak is the best one to have the Mallet of Mashing on. So we're gonna actually throw that there. However, it is getting the sword. Titan's Vest is also going on Spirit Fang. Blessing of Hedra is going on Uro. Spiked Gauntlets. Put those on Morita. Yeah, let's give Teak that. Uro's going to be a Reptile again, so we have Reptile for once again. And we have Brawler 4 in addition. So that is, I guess, one thing you can do with the... we're also going to finally tier 4 the Gale, because I'm tired of rolling them. Which honestly means I should probably have the Gale actually in and be bringing in something else with Spirit. But I'm kind of committed at this point, so yeah, there we go. Hey, Editing Graham here. I just realized that I actually made a bit of a mistake. So with the Blessing of Hedra, the Uro is actually providing 2 towards the Spirit as well, so I absolutely should be dropping the Vex in my back row and swapping that for the Gale instead. It's not what I did, but definitely something I caught in post. Alright, and I'm actually going to move the Marita up so that the Mickey has to attack into the Spirit Fang, because units seem to be programmed to attack the very first unit that they can. Alright, well here we go. And our units should, have no trouble cleaning up the Gale. So we went from looking a little weak for a couple fights in the second part to actually just being very strong. Okay, so we're gonna go visit the Bard, because I think... Yeah. Oh, make a request. First time foe would cast. Bardic Silence is probably really strong, however, I really just want to hit level 6. It's one of the fun things about this game is that there's just so much to experiment with. Alright, so interestingly enough, we have the Rainbow Rock, which is totally fine. Like, if you don't get any other good options here, Rainbow Rock's a great one to pick. But we also got offered Common Secrets and Uncommon Luck, so we're going to take a quick look at our board. We have 1 rare, 3 uncommons, and 2 commons. So Uncommon Luck is going to kind of supercharge probably our weakest units, and might actually make them do a little better. Okay, well, we can at least tier up the Marita. I swear I don't know if I've missed it, or if I just have not seen another Vex since that first one. But we're gonna pick Bunker Boy, just because, honestly, usually a really easy fight. Okay, how do we want to... Yeah, I think that's how we want to line up our stuff. We can just tuck the Vex into the little bunker here. Our Gale is just going to get dropped in this back line and really mess up the stuff back here, which is nice. So, yeah. It's one of the nice things about the enemy completely ignoring the, Come on... Oh, cool. We caught the werewolf guy. Neat. Yeah, problem solved. And we picked up a second Withervine potion somewhere along the way, so that should make the final fights fairly simple. Yeah, there's no way with this last fight that we are... Ooh. Okay. So I'm actually not taking the deal here, because if we take the deal and lose, we die. And the difference between 4 curse and 5 curse is negligible at best. So this is going to be an interesting one, but we should be fine. Even if we're not, we go to 1 health, which isn't a huge deal. But it is, as always, very difficult for things to go wrong when you have a tier 4 malady. That's one of the fun things about this game, is it's actually, between the vault and all the events, it's very easy to force a build. Like, there we go. Alright, now we get the payoff for deferring the choice on River till later, and she gives us a Reptile Warbanner, which is honestly kind of huge. And I already know exactly who that's going on. So we're going to make Marita a Reptile, because that gives him all these nice little bonuses. And does it come with a bonus of its own? Nope, just becomes a Reptile. And we're going to put the Mana Bracelet there. Alright, what are our options? I don't think I care about any of these, so we're going to reroll. And I definitely don't care about any of these, so we're going to reroll again. Blessed Blade is a hugely useful item. Normally I would put that on Spirit Fang, but we're just going to suit up the Marita and hope that he goes to town. And we have our first round here against Gara, who always has poison. Like, her build is always poison and something. Alright, and yeah, we're just gonna... Basically, she got 2 tanky units, 2 damaging units, so kind of just gum up the ground here as much as possible. Malady is permanently in the Mana Regen Shrine. And we can finally pay off that choice I made earlier with the Morello, and he's going to start with a full magic bar. So the first thing he's going to do is he's going to point at something on this front line and just blow everything up. Alright, he picked the worst target, but, like, just deleted a unit within the first few seconds of the match. Yeah. Did we lose anybody? I don't think one of my units died there. Okay, so we have skeletons and elementals. My one complaint about the elemental build is that it just, like, elementals don't synergize with anything. Alright, now let's look at the front line. 3 tanks. We're gonna move our units up, I think. And the reason that I'm doing this is there's a very tanky skull here, so I kind of want both my high damage melee units focusing on it. Unfortunately, that is going to expose them to these back 2, but I'm hoping between everything else I have going on that isn't gonna matter. Yeah, and all bets are off as soon as the skeleton ability triggers. The skeleton ability makes it so that they all come back, and Lelthus always has it 4. So his skeletons would come back with full mana. And immediately use their ability. Okay, looks like it doesn't matter. Alright, and just like that, we're into the finals. So, what do we have here? Yeah. Skye always has a Torque, and that Torque is always going to be the one wearing the power armor, so, yep, we'll just slow that one down. Stalker 2 is interesting. Hopefully that's not going to make much of a difference, because these two units right here are just going to jump on my back line immediately. The Brim is the other slightly concerning... I just realized that this is a tier 4 Corvid. I'm willing to... yeah, willing to use the thing there. Alright, this is a little awkward, so hopefully this plays out just fine. Knowing what's about to happen here, do I need to move anything? I don't think so. I kind of just have to hope that Malady can carry the day. Alright, so the Torque with the power armor died, the... both of the... yeah, okay, not... I don't know what I was worried about. So that was me massively over-explaining my own thought process as I go through these. I hope you're able to learn something from it. Honestly, I hope that was helpful, because this game is a ton of fun, and I like seeing people enjoy it, because I want to see the devs keep making more, so... Feel free to leave any questions that you may have down in the comments. I'm always more than happy to answer, just with what I've learned based on my experience. And thank you again for watching this video. I hope you have a great day, and I will catch you in the next one.